All right, let's try that again. I think you'll be able to hear me now. My bad. As I said just a moment ago, but you couldn't hear me, was this as simple as one team that plays together and another that doesn't? That's what we'll talk about on POSTCAST. David Locke along with Ron Boone, and the Jazz really win this one quite easily tonight. The final score tonight, the Jazz led this one at the end of 1 by 3, by 9 at the half, by 17 at the end of 3, as they just controlled it and won it 118, 119, 128, 119, which was kind of irrelevant at the end. I'm fascinated by this game for a few reasons, Ron. One, because Craig Bolajek actually had an interesting stat. Like the 6th win, we didn't have to like mid-December last year. And there's really no way this roster should be better than last year's roster. So I think that's really interesting to me. And I think that preaches a little bit to the next thing that's so interesting is that Sacramento is really a disaster because they're a bunch of individuals with no collectiveness, no ownership, no like pride of what they're doing in regards to anyone else around them. And it's obvious when you watch them. Like I literally asked somebody who's around their team. So like I literally asked 2 questions after watching 3 of their games today. One was, do they hate each other as much as they look like on the floor? And hate's probably the wrong word, but the concept was there. That was the point of the question. And then after the Doug Christie press conference, I literally asked someone, is this team as hard to coach as he just made it sound? Like that's literally what I left the Doug Christie press conference today going, oh my gosh, this team must be impossible to coach. And then I watched them play. They backed it up. And I watched us play. And we're short all sorts of stuff. And probably going to win 25 games this year. But at least we play a system together and are trying and working off each other. And Keontae's trying to make somebody else better. And Zay's trying to make somebody else better. And Filipowski's trying to make the right play every single time. And Isaiah's like they're trying to make the right play every time.
Well, to help you out, the Jazz were 4-11, 4-13 this time last season. So they're better. And you can just see that they are playing better. And I totally agree with you as far as watching the Kings play opposed to what the Jazz are doing out there on the floor. Big difference. But the Kings are a much better basketball team with Sabonis on the floor. They don't have that leadership right now that can carry them. And what's so surprising, David, is the veteran players they have on this team, but even more so is that, we're looking at 20 games into the season and
they're done.
Like they're cooked.
Matt George, Locked on Kings host, literally did a show. Season's over. They were 500 last year. I will say this, as a team going through the rebuild, it's a stark, scary reminder to us about how hard it actually is. Because 2.5 years ago, they're playing in the NBA playoffs against Golden State. They're in Game 7 at home. And if Steph Curry doesn't have one of the singular greatest individual performances, they advance to the second round and they think they're great. Instead, they get rocked by Steph, and then somehow things go awry last year, and the ownership fires Mike Brown in a really weird move. And then Aaron Fox demands a trade, and they're done.
They're cooked.
And now they don't have. I mean, I know this is a Jazz postcast, but like they don't have tradable pieces. Like the one thing that scares me watching them is like, well, we're going through this multi-year process to try to build a franchise right, and it can disappear that fast.
The only way they're going to get rid of is not the right word to be using, I think, but just move a player or two. You find a team that needs that one player that's going to put us in the championship or put us in the Western Conference Championship, Eastern Conference, something like that, because otherwise, David, you got a bunch of 27.
And
what did I say? The 27th oldest team in the NBA right now.
Yeah, and they are the 4th oldest, 27 youngest. And they don't have a single piece that somebody wants to win a championship. Yeah. They all cost too much money. They don't have. All right, so let's get to the Jazz. Yeah. Another night of Keonte George really just being fabulous, and he, probably against Russell Westbrook and Zach LaVine, he should be. But I mean, we're just seeing it night in and night out that this kid has emerged, and you have to start if this has now gone on for We're 18 games. I mean, this is 25% of the season. He's now doing this.
So talent with confidence. What does that get you? He gets you Keyonte. Right
that's
now.
great.
And he definitely has it going. I mean, his confidence is there. And he's not rushing things. He's making things happen out there on the floor, and he's consistently doing it. Coaches love that. I mean, consistency is everything in this league.
Well, I mean, once I think it was actually Rashard Lewis's development when I was in Seattle with the coaches. They're like, he's fine, but we need to be able to pen in what he's doing, not pencil in. And what they meant by that was like some nights he would give him 22 and some nights he would give him 7. And by the end, he's averaging 15 points a game. But the 7 meant a loss, and the 22 meant you had a chance. Like right now, Keontae's averaging in the last 5 games, he's averaging about 28 points a game. He's averaging 24. He's gamed every night.
Yeah.
He's had 34 times this year. He had 33 times all of last year.
Yeah. Now, he's making players out there better, and not so much because he's making the right reads, assists, but because he's a threat. And they have to pay a lot of attention to that threat that makes players like Bailey accessible and to the point where he can, do his thing.
And by the way, Keontae's draft class is turning out to be very good if you look back on it. But the 16th pick for Keonte George we may look back at the Tyrese Maxey pick by Philadelphia as a real win. The 16th pick for Keonte may be a real win.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I'm impressed by Bryce Sensabaugh tonight. This team desperately needs a third scorer at times. Ace Bailey left with a knee contusion. We can only hope that it's not more serious. It's at all serious. But I think the Bryce Sensabaugh 20 points tonight. The Jazz need that out of Bryce. Now, this is a feckless defensive team. They were 25th in the league defensively, and we're about to see an incredible contrast to that on Sunday and Monday and what our guys have to embark upon trying to play Houston and their pressure. So this is probably not a model that tells you a lot, but you got to do it against somebody, and they did it. Bryce has gone into his bag a little bit differently. His 3-point shot, which is not falling quite as well as he would like. He was 2 of 5 tonight, which is great, 40%, but he was at 33% in the recent games. He's upped his 2-point shooting up to nearly 60% this year, which is really a big change for him, Ron.
So looking at him, watching him play and watching him be aggressive, I think is the way he's going to have to play. And not just rely on just being a jump shooter. You saw him get to the basket. I was so impressed with him driving baseline, spinning back to the middle of the floor and scoring. And that's something that I don't think I've seen all season long. So he tells me that he has another side of his game that he can put out there on the floor other than shooting the basketball. Now, he played, 27 and a half, 28 minutes tonight, and I think that ties his season high. I think that could be just about right for him every ball game coming off the bench.
He scored 16 a game at Ohio State as a freshman. He has a full bag.
And I know he
has a full offensive bag. Right. I mean, what I like most about Bryce is where I'm seeing his growth in the third year, and it's not surprising. These are hopping these guys' third years. Is the last 4 games he shot 34%.
Okay.
And when he used to shoot 34% in his last 4 games, he seemed uncomfortable in his next game, and he did not seem uncomfortable tonight.
So what's going to keep him off the floor, David, I think if he plays the way he did offensively tonight, would be defense.
Yeah.
And being able to read and not get caught and just being a player that you can rely on defensively out there on the floor. And I think that's what Will goes through. And the reason he gets upset, sometimes he calls that timeout very quickly, and he talks to that one particular player right away as he's coming off the floor. And now you know why you made that mistake. Now, I watched very closely when they at shoot-arounds and the type of defense that they want to play. And we saw with Keonte and Filipowski tonight, and where one player made the right read and the other one didn't. And they end up scoring.
By the way, this win was fairly important also because Houston, the next 2 games, is going to be really hard. They're playing very well. We'll see if Durant's back. First game you play in New York's never easy. And then you get the Knicks on a back-to-back in Oklahoma City. The 4-game losing streak could have really extended out.
Right.
So to get this game, I think, really matters. The other one that was big in tonight's game was that the Jazz have really had a hard time playing any defense at all with Nurkic and Kessler both off the floor. So at this point, that's Nurkic. Tonight, they were pretty good with Nurkic off the floor. I don't know if Kevin Love matched all 20 minutes. He didn't quite, but Kevin Love was +8, and I think they were positive when they played Filipowski at center also tonight.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of this win tonight.
Well, hey, they didn't have a center. They don't have a center.
Yeah, you know.
So if you and what you're saying is absolutely right, because if the Jazz didn't be able to, I don't want to say dominate, but look good at that center position, then that tells us something else.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And Nurk continues to have Nurk just about triple double, 9 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists tonight. Really, really solid work. He's lengthening his NBA career right now. Yeah. He was borderline at this point last year. He's getting run out of Phoenix. He's going to Charlotte. He's borderline kind of, like borderline NBA. He's 31. He's extending his NBA career right now. It's a good story.
Yeah. He was brought here to be a backup center, and now he's getting those starter minutes, important minutes, and he's been reliable. And I thought about this during the course of the basketball. He shoots a lot of little push shots.
Yep.
In the paint. Harkenstein. This kid tonight, was it Renal?
Yeah.
It's the type of shot that I don't know if they're taught that shot, but it's.
Well, if he can't elevate, Filipowski needs to learn it, right?
Yeah.
Like Kyle's doing one thing that's absolutely great right now, which is he's passing out of traffic, into the rim, out for 3-point shots. The underlying story to it is he's not finishing it all at the rim right now. So he needs to figure out kind of what the flip side of that is, of how he also can score in there when he has the ball 2 feet away from 5 feet away from the basket. Kyle's going to have to learn that.
Yeah.
Say it's for guys who cannot elevate over the defense at the rim.
Yeah, that's true. And Harkenstein probably is the best at it, because he can do it from the little dotted line there.
It's like an electric shock.
Pushes it off. And it's nice and soft, that if it hits the rim, it could bounce around and go in.
All right, who are your Jazz notes tonight, Ron Boone?
How many do I have here? 5. As a matter of fact.
And they are
Laurie
for 28 points despite 2 of 13 shooting from 3.
Yeah, he came to life there in the fourth quarter and separated the Jazz. And then I got Nurkic, obviously. What a night he had. As you just mentioned, just short of a triple-double, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, and ended up with 9 points. Then I got Keyonte, Sensabaugh, and Kevin Love.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
All right, those are your Jazz notes tonight. Jazz. Oh, someone caught it. Thank you, Del. We were talking about Kyle, and I said on the flip side. Hopefully, if you're listening to the broadcast, you heard all the cash register references to Black Friday. Have a great one. We'll be back with you Sunday. Happy Thanksgiving.
1 o'clock start. Don't forget.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. If you're coming to the game, remember, bring your headphones. Come visit us. Get your little code so you can listen inside the arena as well. And we are lag free, so you can catch it in real time. Have a great one. Talk to you guys soon.